Hello, hello. Are you having a great weekend? I am. I am having a great time watching all these great ideas, and I have some new techniques to show people and try. My name is Leanne Furness, and I will show my face at the end, I think, when I close out our session. I am the last and final presentation of our weekend. I hope you've learned and had a great time. Today, I'm going to do what I call, well, what's been called corner stamping. And it's really kind of a fun thing to do, and it's a great way to get 4 cards with one swoop. Fun. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead. I live in Rochester, Minnesota, which is southeast, excuse me, Rochester, Minnesota. And then, lost my train of thought. So what we're going to do, we're going to start with my cards. And I'm going to start with just a plain base of basic white, or whatever we call it these days, basic white. And I'm going to cut it down to be 7.5 by 10 inches. Now you're going to say, why do you do that? Well, because you'll see. It'll become clearer at the end here. So you have to stick around, is what I'm saying. So, okay, so what I want to do is I'm going to double check that I'm live. I says I'm live, but I don't see anybody watching, which is fine, because it is the lunch hour. Okay, so we're going to use these colors. We're going to use basic gray. What is going on? I just don't like when it's dark. Basic gray, Last Lagoon, Real Red, Copper Clay, Smoky Slate, and Crushed Curry. Copper Clay, as a reminder, is at 2325 in color, so that's retiring when our catalog retires, and I know other people have talked about that. So if that's one of your faves, you're going to have to stock up on paper, because it won't be around, and once that retirement list comes, like Katie said, it will go fast, so it does run out. Okay, we're going to use, I'm like, where is my stamp set? We're going to use the trusty tools. I'm going to make a Father's Day card or just a birthday card, and we're going to use all these images. This is a two-step stamping, so I'm going to do that and show you and kind of give you a quick couple things. They're all photopolymers, so I have some of them already mounted, but here is one idea. When you have, and you're doing this corner thing, you can put multiple images on a block, and then we're going to go ahead and stamp. Now it says corner stamping. Let me show you a sample. Like here is a finished card. Okay, I'm going to pause and make this brighter, I think, in my mind. Okay, maybe it's just the glare. Oh, geez, that's my fingers. Okay, so now we're crooked. Oh, my Atlanta. Okay, so this is the card, and this is the corner stamping, but it's not how you do it. It's weird. You're going to stamp down the middle and down the middle lengthwise. So that's the goal, is to fill this part of your paper, your plain paper, with images. So I'm going to go ahead and use my basic gray, and I'm going to I thought this would be a little bit faster, and I'm certainly not going to do all of it, but I'm going to give you a gist of the idea. And that wasn't straight, but it doesn't matter. So I'm going to just kind of, and I like to go off the edges because that gives it a more realistic look. And I'm going to flip it so there's variety. And then I'm going to go ahead, I mean, if I had these on each block, it would be like, you know, kind of cumbersome and annoying. So I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to do this down here, this way. And we're going to fill in some of the white space with other images that are lined art that we're going to color in. So I'm going to go like that, because remember, we're going to be cutting this in quarters. So like this space needs something, but it's not big enough for all of this. So I'm going to take off the hammer carefully, or maybe not so carefully, and ink up with the basic gray just this part to fill that space. Didn't push hard enough, it's okay. And then there's a pencil in there, and so we're going to add that here, and we're going to kick something out of my way. All right, and I'm just going to keep adding pencils. You could not be straight, you could go like crooked or give it some more, you know, visuals. It's really, there's no right or wrong. And I just thought this was a fun way to use this set that will be continuing on, which I'm very excited about because I think it's great for guide cards. I'm going to do the tape measure now, if you can see that. And I'm going to add that in here somehow, very carefully. We have to leave room for a greeting. I mean, that's the whole point. Or you could certainly cover it all up, but then that's more like a one sheet wonder. But this is corner stamping, so I got to get this over here. I'm going to do it like that. Okay, get rid of those because those are done. Basic gray is done. Now this is 2 steps, so that means we're going to fill in parts with the images that they bring. And so I'm going to pull out my Lost Lagoon, and I'm going to grab this wrench handle, and that is not it. So that's the hammer handle. Got it? So that's how you figure this all out. Here's the wrench handle. So I'm going to use Lost Lagoon, and I'm going to stamp off on my scratch paper back here so that it's a soft Lost Lagoon. And you know, you get 2 colors really with every ink pad or more, so you don't need to really, I mean, as much as I would love to sell to my customers every ink pad, you can get more bang for your buck. And that's what I love about Stampin' Up! And what I love about this group is that we show you how to get the most out of your investments, because you are making an investment and we love it. Okay, so then we're going to grab the, I'm just going to put that up. I lied, I wasn't done with Lost Lagoon. I'm going to go, there's also this little image, and it's really hard to see what it is. It's the paint the paint liner on your paintbrush. So I'm just going to randomly stamp those, oops, in different colors so that there's more color, because it's kind of bland otherwise, right? Okay, so now I'm going to take Real Red, and we're going to use that to fill in the tape measure. And again, stamp off. Well, we're going to do it this way. Stamp off so it's a softer red. It kind of looks a little bit like poppy red. Sometimes people do 2-step the other way, like you stamp the colored in part first and then line it up. It doesn't matter for your end result. It matters in your personal preference. So that's really the only difference for that. Okay, that's going to be good. Didn't need to do them all, but hello. And then I'm going to go ahead and grab this same paint and add some red paint on that brush. Kind of looks like blood, but you know, we're just going to go with it. Okay, we're on Maureen's thing, just go with it. Now I'm going to grab copper clay for the hammer handle, and that's the shorter one. Excuse the sniffles. I got a little bit of a cold when I was at On Stage. It was so fun to meet people in person and just have a great time learning about so many things. Oh my gosh, so many ideas. And unfortunately, one of our teammates, one of our friends was sick, which really stunk. All right, so that's the copper clay look for the wooden handle of the, and then I'm going to go ahead and grab some crushed curry for the filling of the pencil. And you can see where that just adds a lot of color. There's really a right and wrong, but it doesn't matter that much. And then I'm going to go ahead again and grab my paint and go like this. And then last but not least, I'm going to use Smoky Slate to fill in the metal parts 2 different ways. So here is my paintbrush metal. So I'm just going to go ahead and ink that up and stamp off because I don't want it to be too dark. Like that. Make sure I'm in my, well, I'm going to keep inching down here. Okay, so I'm going to do that again. And then I'm going to take a blender pen and grab some of this ink down here and kind of color in, because there's not a stamp for this hammer head, but I don't want it white, and I didn't want to, there's a die, but you can cut this out, but this is supposed to be just quick and fun, and your hammer can look really crazy. I did put some re-inker in my cover, because sometimes when you do that smush thing to get the ink, you kind of get all the ink out of the middle, and I know my customers tend to want to stamp in the middle, ink up in the middle of the ink. So that's just another little trick with your re-inkers. And so you're going to go ahead and color all that stuff that you want, colored gray, and then through the magic of videos, you end up with something like this. And so now I have a pattern. I also stamped this with smoky slate just to add some fillers in. And what you're going to do then is you're going to cut this into quarters, and the quarters are going to measure 3 3/4 by 5. Now I will have all the measurements on the PDF for both. There's 2 different ways to do this. So there is, this is going to be so that there's 2 card layers in the front, and the other way is going to be 1 card layer in the front. You'll see what I mean. And then this is going to be 5. And then comes the fun part where you're going to add some words. And I had a ton of fun playing with this. So I'm going to grab my crushed curry again. And in that stamp set, there's the word dad. Jeez, Leon. And I'm going to stamp dad, stamp off dad, and then grab my basic gray that I put in a really good spot. There it is. And I'm going to stamp on top of it, Happy Father's Day. And then we got to have some bling, right? And we have 2 different options you could use for this kind of a masculine or more toolish kind of card. You can go ahead and use the industrial gems, trinkets. I'm going to get rid of this because otherwise I'm going to make a mess. And these are not pre-glued or whatever. They're not ready to go. But what I find is that my Take a Pick tool, which is oozing out its stuff, like that's weird, I'm going to grab this out of my bucket, and I'm going to put it on a glue dot because it goes right perfect with that. And then I can pick it up again, maybe, or I can take that off, and put this down, kind of give it some character. And then I'm going to go ahead and grab the adhesive backed gems, metallic gems, from the annual catalog as well, and they're just a teeny bit smaller, and I like to have different sizes, and so I'm going to use all different 3 sizes, the big one, my little, and my medium. And again, we'll have all of our supplies and tools that we're using in our PDFs, because that's the whole point of ordering with us. And like Katie said, you can stock up on cardstock, because that is going up, and so you're going to want to kind of stock up. Now, like Angie said, if we're going to conserve paper, if I wanted to cut something out of this, you would never see it, and I would normally do that in a class or at home or when I'm just by myself, just to save the paper. And then that is, so this becomes 3 3/4 by 5. This is your standard 4 1/4 by 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, 5 1/4. I can't even remember. And then you glue it on. So that's my corner stamping. Let me show you a couple more cards. This one Well, now I've lost my mind. Okay, so this one I showed you, I think. Happy Father's Day. And then a thank you. So you can see how I rotated it to have, so this is why it's called corner stamping. And happy birthday, I used the happy birthday here from the shopping set called Attention Shoppers. And then this, I kind of chuckled to myself because I'm going to give this to my son. He doesn't watch my videos, so I think I'm safe. But this stamp, Support Wildlife, Raise Children, is an online exclusive, and it's great. I mean, motherhood is a perfect mix of chaos and love. I can just see so much fun things, and you never notice how weird you are until you have a kid that acts just like you, which is the case in my son. So I'm going to add that in the inside, probably later with some white, but I just thought that was fun. Okay, now, I did say there's two different measurements, and I will put both of these on the PDF, but you can start with either the 7.5 by 10, which is what I showed you, or you can start with an 8 by 10.5. You still want to cut a little bit down because then you can kind of see where your corners are going to be, where you're going to cut. This I used Cheerful Daisies, and I used Blackberry Bliss for the dark lines, and this is Highland Heather, Old Olive, and Crushed Curry. I just really liked how that worked. And then because it's the larger half, the larger paper, I'm going to go ahead and just trim this down to be, and I'm doing it sideways just so I don't knock everything off. So this is going to be the traditional size, right? 4 1/4. Looks really weird there. 4, I lied, 4, because there's not going to be any layers on it, behind it. 4, and then I'm going to go 5 1/4. Got this one while I'm at it, and I'm not going to go through the stamping of the greetings, but I think you're going to get the gist of this. Just get it? It's like the Global Inspiration Stamp Team. There's so many fun things you can do with this. So I had a blast yesterday playing. Yesterday, yes, I was doing this yesterday because I was on stage, like I said, and that just wore me out, and now I'm getting a cold or it's allergies. But look at how beautiful that can be. It just really looks, I love this technique, and I forgot about it until I started playing. Now, that was the larger size cut down. This is the same larger size cut down with the same tools, and you can just see how it looks different. And this was my really fun one. I ran this through with an embossing folder, the metallic, I don't even know what it's called, but I loved it. I thought that was really cool. So you can just add, and it doesn't look like it's a simple card. It looks like it's a lot of work, right? Right. Okay, so again, I'm going to flip my camera and show my face, hopefully. Okay. Okay, so I have some housekeeping to wrap this whole day up. My presentation was pretty quick, but I just wanted to show you the corner. You can do it with flowers, you can do it with leaves, you could do it with so many things. I think that it would be a really cool technique to put back in your arsenal, especially if you don't have designer series paper that you like or you have enough of. I want to thank you for watching. Like I said, I am the last person today. Our next event is in May 9th and 10th, and we will be highlighting all good things from the new catalog, including the new in colors. So, like Katie suggested, to get this PDF that's going to be rock star quality with all the information that you need and links to the video, you need to order through your demonstrator by March 30th. And they will get you that PDF then, and you will have so many ideas, right? But to order, if you're thinking, oh, I don't really want to order anything until I see the new catalog, you're going to need white cardstock, you're going to need black cardstock, you're going to need all the cardstocks because they're all going up in price and the configurations are changing. So you're going to want to, at the minimum, order the in colors that you don't want to lose. and stock up on some cardstock. Let's see, March 30th, and I'm trying to read my notes really quick. There's one more thing. Chrissy is going to do a video tomorrow, Monday, tomorrow, Sunday, Monday, sometime during the day, for her presentation. And then once that's all done, we'll be able to get our PDF going, and you'll be able to watch the videos and recreate some great cool things. We would love to see projects you made by being inspired by us, because that's the fun part of being a demonstrator. I think that is all I have to say. And wrapping up, I'm looking at my notes. Okay, well, thanks again for joining us. It is so fun. I love this group of ladies that stamp all over the world, all over the country, and it just is fun and refreshing to see other ideas and other things that you could do with the stuff you maybe already own, or ideas that you can incorporate into other projects. Thank you for watching, and we will see you in May. So watch for that information, new catalog. Thank you. And yes, you're looking at the top of my head. Oh, jeepers.